You are the reason that I sing to you. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You are my God. You are my King. You are the Master, my everything. You are the reason that I sing to you. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you all for another opportunity to come before the Most High God and to share in the bounty of His love for us. Whatever time you are visiting with us, morning, noon, or night, I want to thank you. It's an honor. We're talking about Peter denied Christ 3 times, and he still chose to use him mightily. Let's go to Mark 14, 66 verse. While Peter was in the courtyard below, one of the high priest's maidservants came. When she saw Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, "You also were with Jesus, the man from Nazareth." But he denied it. "I don't know or understand what you are talking about." Then he went out to the entryway, and a rooster crowed. When the maidservant saw him again, she began to tell those standing nearby, "This man is one of them." But again, he denied it. After a little while, those standing there said to Peter again, "You certainly are one of them, since you are also a Galilean." Then he started to curse and swear, "I don't know this man you're talking about." Immediately, a rooster crowed a second time, and Peter remembered when Jesus had spoken the word to him, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down and wept. Peter denied him 3 times, but how many times have we denied the Lord? And in how many ways have we denied him? Now, many feel that Apostle Paul was the greatest of the apostles. That was Apostle Paul's analogy or summation about himself. Christ never told him that. God never told him that. Apostle Peter, the one that knew Christ, was around him, knew the difference between he being man and he being God, got to know him 3.5 years, but according to when you study more, you know that they knew each other longer than that. The apostles that Christ had chosen were brothers and cousins and friends. But Peter, who knew the Lord so well, loved him with everything, and became afraid and denied him 3 times. And the Lord had already warned him, told him that Satan desires to sift you as wheat, praying for him, Peter was going to be able to overcome it. And when you do get yourself back together, you go and you strengthen your brothers. Apostle Paul felt he was working harder than the other apostles because really, if you study Apostle Paul, he had a lot of arrogance. I know some folks hate to hear that, but he was very arrogant. He was once a Pharisee, let's just get it real. A lot of his disposition and his knowledge and his standing came out in his words very well. Apostle Paul was able, he felt the need and the desire to show the Lord how much he loved him, and the Lord had sent him to the Gentiles, and he knew that he had once had taken the lives of Christ's believers. So now let me do what the Lord had me to do and allow the Lord to give them life in my introducing them. We heard many times that Paul wrote half of the New Testament. So in debate is whether or not he wrote the book of Hebrews or not. But all of the books that he wrote to the churches that were under him, you well know. But here Apostle Peter, upon his faith, upon the faith of that rock that you brought out of your mouth. And yes, your name means Petros, yes, rock. You little rock. You have faith, you're solid, you're rugged. But that boulder that came out of your mouth, boulder that came out of your mouth, I'm going to build my church on it. Peter loved the Lord with everything that is in him. He loved him. Yes, he sure did. Those of you all that hear in the background, we're in the country and we have a lot of farmers doing their thing, and I like to see it. He loved him with everything in him. And he felt really distraught, devastated, guilty, ashamed, humiliated, to the point he really didn't know if he wanted to go on. You know he had to know Christ that well, to love him, to be called up in the inner circle, to see things that all of the apostles wasn't able to see, to have enough faith to believe him enough to step out of a boat and walk on water towards the one that told you to come on because you got this much faith. But then when the push came to a whole lot of shoving, mankind now trying to threaten your life, you feel, because you know I told you what's going to happen to me. I came here for that purpose, is what Christ was saying. But if Peter had remembered the Lord had told him there were some things that he would be doing for him, but flesh had gotten in the midst. And he's wondering. You go ahead and you read the other apostles and you'll find, because one will show this portion of the events and another will tell it from another perspective. You even saw what was going on in the book of Acts when all of the apostles were getting their footing and their assignments. But there are two powerful books in this book. And that's 1st and 2nd Peter. You don't hear him writing many things. He were being talked about. But he didn't write, but do. With his name on it. The most powerful book. 2 of the most powerful books. And they're not that long. After being tested and tried. You know, Peter, he had done so many works for the Lord. Tried even when he was dealing with his folks that were once in Judaism, and now he's trying to present Christ to them. The Messiah that you're waiting for has already come. He died on the cross for us. He stayed here. He came through the personage of Jesus for 33 and a half years. He died on the cross, and he resurrected, and he's coming back again. You need to know him. Three times he denied him. And that was just answering the question. How many times have we denied him in what we said? What we didn't say that he told us to. What we didn't do, and a whole lot of what we did do. How many times have we denied him? And some of the things, and in how many ways, and the enemy is still being able to bring it back. You know you did it. You know you said it. Oh, you didn't do this. You should have, but you were too weak. You know, the devil. How many ways have compromised when the Lord said no? I told you no. I said no. Did you not hear me say no? Other times we rushed because the Lord didn't answer, but he didn't say no. You just felt his presence. And that was the time you should have been praying more. Oh, but you know us. He didn't say no, you know. If he really meant no, he'll tell me. Surely he didn't mean that. And then sometimes there might have been an opportunity where you knew he didn't say anything, and the Lord was testing what he placed in you. See, he don't tempt you in anything. He don't tempt you to sin at all. He doesn't tempt you into evil, but he will test you by what he's put inside of you. Those conversations that you've held with him. The questions you ask and he answers you back. Then he'll allow you to live life. And life presents things that you wasn't ready for, you thought. We hear many people say, God would never put more on you than you can bear. That's never what he said. He said he would never allow you to be tempted, and that's from the devil, beyond what you are able. But with all temptation, he makes a way to escape it. But your testing, my dear darlings, regardless of how hard that test is,